this community service. It allows the people of Battle Creek to listen to the candidates to make some decisions if their mind hasn't been determined yet, and I think this is very important. So I
Well,
like the organization that you put forth.
well, thanks.
Thank
We
you.
hope it does help answer some questions and at least to inspire folks to do a little research on their own. How long have you been doing this, by the
Well,
way?
that's a good question. A very long period of time, but I have gained a lot of experience. I mean, people talk about commissioners serving the people of Battle Creek and learning the ins and outs, and I must admit, I've learned a lot through my years. I think it's close to a quarter of a century that I've been working with the people of Battle Creek and several different elected officials. But I enjoy making Battle Creek government stronger, making it more responsive to the people of Battle Creek. There are some issues that sometimes you just don't fulfill, and one of them that I would like to share with you is the McCamley Street Railroad crossing. I've been struggling with that one for probably 2 years. I get about a handful of people that remind me that we have a railroad crossing in downtown Battle Creek that they literally have to stop before they go over. So we're working on it. I know the crews are out there. A couple of weeks ago, we shut it down for an entire week, but I think those are the type of things that really keep me wanting to come back and make our government more responsive to the people of Battle Creek. So,
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because sometimes it's just the small everyday things that end up being a big headache for some folks, and you end
yeah,
up
it
hearing
is.
about it.
And, some of our administrators get so caught up in what they're doing, they need the elected officials just to remind them that, hey, the constituents are concerned that we have a railroad track in downtown Battle Creek that you can't effectively go over. And so we're working on that. And there's a lot of bureaucratic hurdles that you have to go through. We're dealing with two different railroads there, the CNN and the Amtrak, and we will get it taken care of. It may take another 2 years, but we're going to get it taken care of.
All right. How about the last year? What are your impressions over the last year as far as the business the commission dealt with, and how do you feel about that?
Well, we've had our hands full. I'll be honest with you. The administration has been working diligently. I've been very impressed with Rebecca Fleury, our new city manager, on some of the issues that she's taken on. Budgetary, our dollars aren't as we don't have that many taxable dollars because of the recession of 2008, 9, and 10. Housing values decreased, and consequently, the tax revenues that we had in the past were not there. I'm not sure if we're out of that yet. There's still some opportunities for us to do more with less, and that's important. We can't be raising taxes. People are paying enough already. I think we need to create more people that want to have an interest in Battle Creek, so we need to keep taxes low. So, the administration's worked very hard. They've taken on some huge challenges, and that's important that we continue to look for the processes that will make our community better.
How about the next year? Do you see some challenges or priorities in the next year?
We need to make it more easy to do business in Battle Creek. I think our code compliance is a challenge that we've had for a number of years. I know that they're out there right now exploring some Disney approaches so that customer service and customer friendliness will be very important. I'm baffled at the number of concerns that I get from constituents about experiences that people have had with code compliance or just opening a business in Battle Creek. I think we need to be more friendly. We need to be more open. And I think that's going to be a big challenge for the administration and for the city commission in the next year. Of course, we have police and fire. They are looking to build new fire stations. I'm not convinced that that's the best thing to do. I think what we need to do is provide excellent service in the police and fire area. I think maybe exploring whether or not we may need public safety similar to what Kalamazoo does. I'm not saying I'm in favor of it, but I think we need to explore it. But we need to have a good, strong government when it comes to police and fire, and that's very important.
We're talking with Battle Creek Commissioner Mark Behnke on WBCK. So how's your impression of the BC Vision process and where that's been going?
Well, we're very lucky and fortunate to have the number of people that have been involved in this very thorough process. I know that I've heard from some people saying that they weren't considered or their voices weren't heard. I got to be honest with you, anyone that hasn't been heard or hasn't been given an opportunity must be living under a rock because literally this BC Vision paid people to go out and knock on doors throughout the entire community to get input. They've had various ways of getting people involved, and I just commend the people that are on that committee for taking the time out of their work day to put forth something that's never been done before in Battle Creek. And to have the CEO of the Kellogg Foundation and the CEO of the Kellogg Company, two of the largest organizations in the state of Michigan that are based right here, I think it speaks volumes of their leadership, their commitment to Battle Creek, and I'm just very blessed to have both of those organizations in our community, and what they contribute to Battle Creek and the surrounding area is just remarkable.
Some of the impressions that we've been given about BC Vision from some of the folks who've been close to it, they've said this is unlike anything we've ever seen before here. That is to say, the collaboration that we've experienced and the action that has started in advance, perhaps, of some of the deadlines that have been set to actually begin some of that action. Is that your impression?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you've got the best of the best working at finding the processes that we need to improve employment, to improve opportunities for new business startups in our community, and to become more competitive and to work with companies like the Kellogg Company or any of the companies out in Fort Custer, become a vendor. I think this is how we're going to create jobs and economic growth in Battle Creek, is by doing some of the processes that the BC Vision has identified. Once again, great community process, a great community time to really get involved in the BC Vision, and I encourage anyone that hasn't been contacted to contact the city government, and we'll point you in the right direction in order to get involved.
One of the things Mike Scherzer brought up yesterday had to do with the notion of Fort Custer, for example, and the idea that perhaps a high-tech component at the Fort Custer Park might be something that we could try to explore, maybe a partnership with Western or something to try and bring different types of jobs here that pay better, to be frank. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I mean, education, when you look at what Kellogg Community College, what Western Michigan University does, or even what Miller College, or some of the small community colleges in our area, or Albion or Olivet, what they contribute to the region is tremendous. And I think that people who, and like Commissioner Scherzer teaches at Olivet, teaches law enforcement and a couple other classes.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are important when we talk about retaining people that we want to grow up in Battle Creek. We need to provide opportunities that are unheard of in other areas. Fort Custer has a lot of growth, a lot of jobs out there, and we're continuing to find more employment for our Fort Custer Industrial Park every day.
You've been mayor before, or any aspirations again?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
My family, I'm very busy with my family. I started a new business 2 years ago, and I'm enjoying that. I think everyone should be mayor once. Luckily, I've been able to be mayor twice, and that was I enjoyed it a lot. I probably gave out more keys to the city than anyone else, but I think we set a nice pace during those 2 years from 2007 to 2009. I enjoyed making Battle Creek better during that period of time, and I enjoy doing it now. But I think I enjoy working with the Battle Creek City Commission. There's a great group of commissioners there, and I hope the voters will give me an opportunity to do it again.
All right, and you'll see Mark Behnke's name on the ballot on Tuesday. Thank you for the time today.
Thank you.
All right. We continue talking with the candidates, and we have spent a fair amount of time talking with incumbents. Happy to welcome Kaytee Faris to the studio today, a candidate for Battle Creek City Commission.
Good morning,
Good morning. Thank you for the time today.
Yeah, thank you for having me in. I really appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I was born and raised here in Battle Creek, grew up right around the corner here, went to Riverside School.
All right.
Went up through the Lakeview School District, went off to Eastern Michigan University, stayed in that area for about 13 years, working for CVS Caremark Pharmacy. Worked as a pharmacy technician, as a trainer, traveled a bit with them for part of their acquisitions team, and then in the year what year was it that I moved back here? 5 years ago I moved back here. I'm sorry, 2005. It seems like I've been here longer.
Yeah.
In 2005, I moved here with my family and had my first child, and we live on the north side now. We're fixing up an old Victorian house there.
Nice.
And my daughter just started kindergarten. So hello, Vivian. I know you're probably at school now, but maybe Dad let you stay and listen to the radio.
Mom's on the radio today.
Yeah.
Nice. So is that your background is pharmacy or your background is business?
Pharmacy.
Okay.
Yep. I worked directly with customers in the pharmacy and fulfilling orders and doing customer service work and training other technicians. So that's what I did most of the time. I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 5 years, though. One of the reasons why we moved back to Battle Creek is because it is an affordable community, so I was able to stay home with my daughter, which has been huge for us. I really enjoyed that. Also spent a lot of time volunteering in the community, so that was another thing that I really wanted to do when I moved back to Battle Creek, is be able to give back to the town that gave so much to me growing up.
All right. So what motivates you now to want to be a city commissioner?
Yeah, so I've been working with our local neighborhood planning council for the past few years. Spent the last year as chair of that planning council. And I really want to just be able to bring the voice of the people to the commission. I want to make sure that people are represented, that they're heard there, and that especially going into the master planning process that the city has started, that all their hopes and wishes for the city of Battle Creek are carried out, and that there aren't any local ordinances or anything like that holding us back from our future.
So are there specific voices you think aren't being heard right now?
I live on the north side, and historically the commission has consisted of people living on the south side of Battle Creek. So in general, I think that there's still a perception that the north side is not being heard. Of course, as an at-large commissioner, I would be representing the entire city.
Right.
I feel like I have a good grasp of that because I have lived in different parts of town. When I was really little, lived out in Urbandale, so I've got a real affinity for that area, and then lived in Lakeview, and now we got a little bear cat at home. So, so I think that there are people out there still that don't feel like they're heard. So my ears are open. I'm listening, Battle Creek.
Are they saying to you, as you've been campaigning, I presume you've been hearing what some of those voices are? Are there certain issues they're worried about?
Like Mark said earlier, co-compliance is still an issue here in the city. I know that they made some changes to that department, so hopefully we'll start seeing some results from that. They're also looking at maybe switching the local codes, so I think that will help. Just recently, the Michigan Economic Development Corps did a survey of the city to see if we qualify to become a redevelopment-ready community. And what that would mean for businesses coming into Battle Creek is that we are ready to serve them, that our online services are functional, that we are a transparent community, that we're an easy place to do business is what it comes down to. So part of that certification would entail specific changes there at City Hall to make sure that we are, transparent, that we are easy to use, that we are, just an easy system to navigate. So I think that's.
What's your impression of the BC Vision process, and have you had any personal experience with it?
I went to the first few meetings, but because I am a stay-at-home mom, I wasn't able to attend all that many of them. I think it's very ambitious. I think that, talking about voices being heard, like Mark had said, they interviewed so many people as part of that process, and then on top of that, collected data from local agencies, from local nonprofits. So the goals are based on what the community need is, and if we are to get to those goals, I can't even imagine how great it would be for this community.
And as a person who grew up here, you would have an impression about this. Some have said the BC Vision process is like something they've never seen, a momentum they've not seen before. Would you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I think anything that gets people in our community talking with each other is great, and this project has definitely done that. I see businesses, nonprofits, average Joes, whoever, working together for this common goal. And I think that everybody's talking to each other and sharing with each other in new ways that are really going to benefit our city.
So as you look forward, maybe code compliance is it, maybe it's not. Is there a priority you see that on day one you'd say we should talk about this subject as a commission?
Code compliance is on that list. Also, the commission has been in the process of exploring priority-based budgeting. So that would be something that I would like to explore. And then, yeah, just making sure that the city is ready for that redevelopment ready community certification.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's my biggest priority is just to make sure that nothing the commission does stands in the way of that, because it would be very beneficial to our community. So far, only 3 other cities in Michigan have that. So.
All right. And in our parting moment here, as a newcomer to this race, is there something you'd like to say to the voters that is a plug for yourself and that you think is a qualifying trait that you have?
Yeah, I think that I have a really good knack for being able to hear both sides of an issue and being able to find that middle ground. And I have a real capacity as a mediator and being able to find a common ground for us to walk forward on.
Okay. So. Well, you'll see her name on the ballot on Tuesday, Kaytee Faris. We appreciate the time you've given us.
Thank you so much. Get out there and vote, guys.
All right.